All right, we are live at the Independent Spirit Awards. Clemency, my God. A word has not come out of my mouth because that's how, yeah.
Most people are like that. They after watching the movie, they definitely can't speak for like 15, 20 minutes, and then it takes days, and they're still reflecting on it, which is amazing testament to like the storytelling.
I want to talk about the idea. Whose idea was it to cast Alfre Woodard?
Do you want to talk about that?
It was myself and the director Chinoya Chukwu, and then we were fortunate that I had just worked with Alfre's agent with another great talent, Sam Shepard, on the film that Julian and I had produced prior called Never Here. And so we were fortunate when we did come up with Alfre Woodard as sort of like being the choice of who we wanted, that we actually had the ability to make the phone call to the right person, because as independent producers, that's often such a barrier to entry, is like, how do you even get to that person? So that was a beautiful sign from the universe and sort of a great assistance to already have that relationship with her agent.
I just love how it all worked in concert. Yeah. It all came together. I mean, Alfre Woodard should win awards just for her facial expressions alone.
She's extraordinary.
Wow. Yeah. When did you know?
Sorry, I'm like, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm like, yes.
When you're watching the dailies, the playbacks.
Sure. I mean, it's so obviously working with Alfre, like just being in the room while they're doing the scene is phenomenal. You're just gripped and totally there, and you don't really think about the filmmaking process. You're just in the scene, and she has a great process that her, Chinoya, and the actors sort of developed where before every scene they would sit down and in the location that they're going to shoot in and talk about it for like maybe half an hour, maybe an hour of like, what is the scene about? Like, what am I thinking about? And you really understood that when they did the scene, they really were prepared around like, what was the character thinking and doing? And things that don't show up on screen. It's just backstory and thoughts but it informed everything they do. And we had so Danielle Brooks is in the movie, and she has...
Oh, Danielle Brooks.
She has one scene that made it into the film. We shot 2 scenes with her, and she came in on like a Sunday and came to work on a Monday, her first day at work, and she has to do the scene that she does with Aldous Hodge that's in the movie. And everyone was kind of crowded around the monitors watching this, and she just basically walked in and just like nailed it first take. And most of that scene is take one, and
Whoa.
We were just blown... Everyone was basically crying.
Like at the monitors crying. It was so powerful.
That was going to be like my next question, like what scene? Because there's always that one scene when you're shooting where you're like, that's it. That's it.
I would say there were 2, and I'd say that the Danielle Aldous scene is one of them, and then Alfre's final scene where it's just, there's no denying the power of the performance, but also that what Alfre as the character of Bernadine is emoting in that moment, you cannot help but feel it. And this whole movie is intended to make people stop and think and feel.
What's so interesting? When I think about the movie and I'm watching this character evolve and just deal with herself, I'm thinking about one of Alfre Woodard's earlier roles in Miss Evers' Boys.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what would her character, Miss Evers' Boy, what would the advice she would give her character in this movie?
What do you think?
It's so complicated.
Well, the whole movie is so complicated. The whole movie is so complicated.
I think what's great about Alfre, from just being around her and having her talk about sort of the role she takes on, is she really fully researches and becomes the character, and she tries to put away, any personal feelings around the politics or things that the characters do in the film, and to come at it as like, okay, I need to understand this person, no matter whether I believe what they're doing is right or wrong, and show that humanity, and through that I will be able to do my best work and portray this person as a whole human being rather than a version of it, which is amazing.
I love that. I mean, the death row cases.
Yeah, and I mean, Alfre, she went on a prison tour of Ohio prior to us filming and spoke to a number of wardens, and female wardens in particular, and she said that, that she then brought that experience and all of that emotion back and just really embodied it. And I think that, as you'll agree, the performance sort of speaks for itself. And I think that it's a performance and a film that will carry on over the years and keep people talking and continue to have a powerful impact.
I'm just so happy that the film is nominated here because it should have been in the Academy. It just should have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we're all just so excited by everything the film's done. Like, it went to Sundance, it won Sundance.
I know, but it should have been in the Academy. I'm sorry.
Totally. I think so. I really appreciate that, and people online have been talking about that, and critics have been talking about it, and it's great to hear. I think, though, I really truly believe that this film, like in 10 years, 20 years, people are going to look back and still have the same love for it and the same love for Alfre, Aldous, Wendell, everyone's performances. Like, it will stand the test of time, and it's a marathon.
It's so interesting you say that.
It's going to live on.
It's so interesting you say that because I was just talking to a few other guests about the late John Daniel Singleton, and a film he did early in his career, Rosewood, did not open to critical acclaim.
Sure.
It just didn't, and now here we are, all these years later.
I think that's the great thing about any kind of art or filmmaking is that it doesn't necessarily have to be right now. Like, it can resonate long after the creators have moved on. We're looking at art from 15th, 14th century, and we still love it, right? And and that's the beauty. It encapsulates this voice and this story, and it gets to live on, and that's amazing. And I think that there's so many filmmakers that there's this concept in creativity where if something is more than 18% novel, it's hard for people to get it. It's too new, too good. And so I think a lot of times people are just ahead of the concept of ahead of your time. That's really true. You're making something that's amazing and no one's done before. And so maybe it's not ready, but that's okay. In 10 years time, 20 years time, it can still be great.
I like that. Thank you so much for your time.